This is
Welcome to the dark side of lust. Let's go through today's story together. Hey there. Well, my name is Todd, and I am American. I'm an American, but right now I live in Thailand. And I really like Thailand. It's an amazing place to stay. It's where I meet a lot of my buddies that I was in the army with, and it's just a great place. The only thing that I've had a couple of issues with, to be honest, is my lust for women and getting confused between the men and the ladies. You see, in Thailand, they have something called a lady boy. And a lady boy is a guy that looks just like a beautiful woman. And yes, I won't lie, I did pick up a couple of them. At first, I picked up one just to see what it would be like. And then I felt kind of guilty. The second one I picked up by accident. And that's what this story is about. So, I was driving down a street and I could see on the side of the road there was a woman just standing there, all dressed up. And it was on a dark road. And I thought to myself, well, this lady must need help. I wasn't looking to get any women that night. I just thought to myself, let me ask her if she's okay. So I pull over and she looks at me and she says, hey, is it okay if I drop her off to her home? And I'm like, absolutely. And she said that she's supposed to meet someone, but she thinks that she got catfished. And I didn't understand what catfished meant. I'm not really an online dater, but I know now after this story because the police told me what it meant. So I thought that it meant that she got stood up. And so I said to her, well, what can I do? What can I help you with? And she said, well, I would just really like to go home. To be honest with you, I'm standing out here on the side of the road. I got a cab here and I was supposed to meet someone and I don't know what's happening, but is it okay if you just drive me to my house? And I thought, well, can't be too far. So I asked her, where is it? And she's like, oh, it's just about 15 minutes down the road. And I said, sure. So hop in. She hopped in and man, was she ever beautiful. She smelled good and she looked good. And I had no idea at this point that she was a lady boy. We're going down the road a little bit more and she pulls out her cell phone and she says, we're almost there. She didn't say, I'm almost there. She said, we're almost there. So I didn't really pay too much mind to that. I just thought maybe it was a cultural thing. And so we're driving and it's getting darker and she gets me to take her down a side road. And then that side road turned into like an open area, but it was all dark. Not so dark where I couldn't see anything because I did have my headlights on. And not only that, it was kind of lit up by the moon. And I said to her, this doesn't look like where a woman like you would live. And she was quiet. And she said, just keep driving. Drive a little bit. And then she said, okay, stop here. And right then, my heart dropped. I felt like I was being set up. And I was. All of a sudden, I see someone walking towards the car. Now, when they were coming towards the car, I could see something in their hand. I thought it was a big machete. That's what it looked like. And then I look over at her, and she has a 9 millimeter pointing at me. So I really didn't have a lot of time to think. So I punched her in her mouth, bam, just like that. And I zoomed forward, made a U-turn, and went down the street. That guy that was walking towards us started to hit the car with what I thought was a machete, and found out later it was. And then he started to hit the car, chop the car, and I just zoomed off. Now, when I punched the girl, the lady boy, in the mouth, I knocked her out, not really knowing it. You see, when I was in the army, I used to do a lot of arm wrestling and a lot of boxing. Pretty tough. Till this day, I can't figure out why she would, you know, make her move on me. I guess I was just the random person she was pulling over, and she thought maybe a gun was going to scare just anyone. But I know about guns, and so as soon as I did punch her in her mouth, I did grab the gun from her, but I didn't realize that she was knocked out until we are zooming down the road, and I'm like yelling at her. I have the 9 millimeter in my lap, and I'm telling her, why would you do this? You're so foolish. And I told her I'm driving her straight to the police station. And I look over at her, and she's still knocked out. She started to come to just before I got to the police. And when I opened the door, she pretty much staggered out of my car. And I called the police over to the car, and I'm like, listen, take this woman in. She is not okay, blah, blah, blah. And I went and I told them the whole story. They asked me to take them out to the place where the guy was with the machete. And we did. We drove out all the way out there, and nothing. There was no car out there. There was nothing at all. And because it was nighttime, we really couldn't see much. So we couldn't see if there would be a house somewhere in the distance, way out in the field, or anything. So the police said to me that since they know where the place is now, the next day they're going to go check out things, and they'll give me a notice to let me know what's happening. Well, they did. And when they got back to me, they said that there was a little house. And not only that, in that little house, they found a man. The man was someone who is known to harvest organs. And if you don't know what that is, then you should really check it out. Because that is when someone kidnaps someone and they take their life for their organs and they sell them on the black market. That night could have ended my life if I wasn't trained in the army, and if I was not keen in listening to my intuition, then I would have allowed lust to get the best of me. You know, I even said to the police officers, the only reason why I even pulled over was because she was a beautiful woman. And I was hoping, after she was in the car, to get a little something for the ride. And that's when the police said to me that she's a lady boy, and I probably wouldn't want the experience. So this is my warning to you. Be careful, no matter where you are around the world. Be careful of hitchhikers and beautiful dresses. If it doesn't look right, chances are it isn't right. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me with this story for Dark Side of Lust. Please join me. We bring out stories every single week, 3 times a week in fact. Take a moment to subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below, and please share. Be careful out there.